Hold it right there, Eggman!
Throughout the countless games in the Sonic franchise, Sonic and the gang have been to a lot of different places. From islands to different planets to the vacuum of space. They've practically seen it all. The world of Sonic has a pretty wide range of unique and memorable locations that stick with people, like Angel Island or Green Hill. Sonic Team is no stranger to putting actual real-world locations into some of their games, and have done it a good handful of times. And since I find this topic really interesting, and I want an excuse to use this picture in a video, I decided why not talk about some of the real-world locations in Sonic games. More specifically for this video at least, the Sonic Adventure games. And since I already showed this picture, why not start with the first game of the series, that being Sonic. Sonic Adventure might be the first Sonic game to base some of its locations on real-world places. I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of hard to tell because there isn't a lot of concrete information about stuff like that on the internet, and it's mostly just speculation, like Casino Night Zone from Sonic 2 potentially being based on Las Vegas. But Sonic Adventure is one of the first games that actually do have developer blogs and confirmed information about that. And that's where this image comes into the picture. Back in the fall of 1996, a little bit after development finished for Nights into Dreams, go play that game by the way if you haven't already, a small group of Sonic Team's members took a trip across Central and South America. They went to look at some of the Mayan ruins and visit some of the remnants of the Inca civilization. I hope I didn't butcher those names. Their trip was just under a month long, and a big part of their trip was used to create the Mystic Ruins, among other places, during the development of Sonic Adventure 1. The architecture, the greenery, and the huge pyramid in the middle of the map were all direct results of this Central/South America trip. Lost World, the stage, not the game, was also very clearly inspired by the trip, as you can see with its stage layout and visuals. Even the existence of the character Twinkle, I don't know how to pronounce. She was literally created because of the time that Sonic Team spent in the ruins of the same name during their trip. Emerald Coast, Windy Valley, and Sand Hill might also be influenced by that trip, with Emerald Coast potentially being based on the coast of Cancun in Mexico, Windy Valley being influenced by Machu Picchu, and Sand Hill being influenced by Peru. But there isn't as much proof for those as there is for the places I previously mentioned. The Chaos Emerald altar near the end of the Mystic Ruins might also be influenced by Peru, but again, I'm not 100% positive about that. I'm not really sure how much I can trust IMDb for Sonic the Hedgehog games. There's a lot more information about Sonic Team's trip to both Central and South America, but this video isn't really about the trip. I just wanted to touch on how that little road trip was able to influence a pretty huge part of Sonic Adventure 1. I think the trip was really interesting to research, and if you want to learn more about it, I highly recommend you go to this website. They have articles on a lot of old Dreamcast stuff that are pretty cool to read through if you're an ultra nerd and really like the Dreamcast like I do. It's a super interesting read, and the article goes really in depth on the locations and activities done in the trip, so be sure to check it out. I'll have a link for it in the description. We aren't quite done with Sonic Adventure 1 just yet though, because there are a few more areas that I think use real life influence. Station Square is an urban metropolis style city that's heavily based on American cities like New York or Chicago, but it gets its namesake from an actual city named Station Square in downtown Pittsburgh. There's a charming little post about the real life Station Square on the Dreamcast Junkyard forum that I'll also link in the description. Casinopolis, I don't know, is another casino based stage just like Casino Night Zone from Sonic 2, so it's highly likely that this stage was also inspired by Las Vegas while taking some of its own creative liberties here and there. For Speed Highway, I'm not entirely sure what it was inspired by, but it's pretty similar to Station Square with the urban metropolis styled look, and it's also located in Station Square, so I assume it's inspired by the same American cities as Station Square, but just at nighttime instead. Or maybe another place that we'll get to later in this video. That's all I got for the more proven areas in Sonic Adventure. I'll rapid fire some other stages that I think are also inspired by other real life locations, but that I couldn't find any specific examples for. Ice Cap is just a really snowy mountain level. It could be inspired by the Japanese Alps, which is a snowy mountain region in Japan, since Sonic Team is in fact based in Japan. Wow, I know guys, crazy information. Twinkle Park is just an amusement park. I don't think there's any specific amusement park that was used as reference, but if there was, I would really like to go there within the next 5 days. Red Mountain's just a mountain. I don't know, it's a mountain, man. I think that's all there is to say about Sonic Adventure. The rest of the stages and areas in this game are just like Eggman bases, and I doubt Eggman took inspiration for his flying robot machine base from like the Himalayas or something. But that isn't all for the Sonic Adventure series though, because there are actually 2 games in it. So I'm gonna talk about the second game now. Being the sequel to Sonic Adventure 2 is bound to have even more locations for us to look at that may take inspiration from the real world. The hub areas in Sonic Adventure 1 had a lot of their aesthetics and designs from the real world, so the lack of hub areas in Sonic Adventure 2 kind of sucks and might lower the amount of real world influence in the game. But to combat that, Sonic Adventure 2 has a lot more stages than Sonic Adventure 1 did, so there's a lot more potential stages that could have different influences instead. Speaking of, I'll start with a few that I and many other people already know about. The first Hero Story stage, and arguably the most popular stage stage in the game, Cityscape, is actually based on San Francisco, California. The story behind this choice is a lot simpler than the one for the Mystic Ruins though. Sonic Adventure 2 was actually the first Sonic game that was co-developed by the US division of Sonic Team, whose headquarters are located in San Francisco. So the level designers thought, why not add a few stages based on San Francisco as a sort of homage to the US division of the team. The other stages based on San Francisco are Mission Street, which is actually a real street in San Francisco by the way, Radical Highway, Route 101, and Route 280, which are all directly based on the Golden Gate Bridge. Speed Highway from Sonic Adventure 1 might also be inspired by the Golden Gate Bridge, but I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff at the wall at this point. Unfortunately, I think those are the only stages in Sonic Adventure 2 that have directly confirmed real-world influence. So because of that, it's time to take a nice trip to Speculation Station and look at some of the potential influences for other stages in the game. First off, Pyramid Cave, Hidden Base, Wild Canyon, Death Chamber, Sand Ocean, and Egg Quarters are all based on Egyptian pyramids. Considering the fact that these stages all take place in the desert, and looking at the imagery of the pharaoh-like statues along with the symbols throughout the level, it's pretty clear that that's the inspiration for them, even if it isn't confirmed. I just find it really cool that both games are able to have very similar structures but with entirely different cultural and historical backgrounds. Metal Harbor and Weapons Bed are both based on naval bases. Gun is a military task force, so it only makes sense for the stages where you infiltrate their bases to be based on real-life military bases. On that point, Prison Lane, Iron Gate, and Security Hall are also all based on military bases, though these ones are closer to normal army bases rather than naval ones. Green Forest and White Jungle are both likely based on the Amazon rainforest. The stages feature a lot of thick greenery, like vegetation being all over the place, huge trees, really long vines, and moss literally everywhere. All of those are staples of the Amazon rainforest. Now, that isn't the only forest in the world with super heavy greenery and stuff like that, but it's one of the most popular ones in the world, so it isn't a stretch to assume that the Amazon rainforest was used as an inspiration for these stages. I also want to talk about Dry Lagoon for a little bit, but I think this stage is a bit of a strange case. Obviously, Dry Lagoon is based on a lagoon, right? Well, kinda. There's a lot of different definitions on what a lagoon is, and it doesn't fit all of them. Either way, the real world inspiration is also a bit of a strange case. Despite the general look of the stage, not only are the structures and statues in it the exact same ones as in the pyramid stages, but the description of the stage itself on the wiki is an oasis in the middle of the desert, so clearly it has an Egyptian inspiration going for it. But like, what about the rest of the stage? I mean, there's a lot of greenery here too, but it isn't the same as in White Jungle or Green Forest. This stage feels a lot closer to like a tropical island or something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure, so if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate any help with this. And now, that's all for the Sonic Adventure 2 stages. I know I didn't talk about Crazy Gadget, Final Rush, Eternal Engine, Meteor Herd, Final Chase, Lost Colony, Cosmic Ball, Mad Space, and Cannon's Core, but that's because they take place in space and therefore, technically, not on Earth and not a real-world location. Okay, that's kind of a lame excuse, sorry. They're all based on space, random planets, and sometimes the moon. There you go. I also never mentioned Pumpkin Hill, Aquatic Mine, or Skyrail, but that's just because I genuinely have no idea where those stages are based on. Like, they're clearly based on like the fall season with all the orange and spooky ghosts and stuff, but like, where is this on the map? Maybe while I'm editing this video, Sonic himself will break down my door and explain where exactly on Earth these stages take place, but I highly doubt that's gonna happen. Though, I'm not writing that scenario off completely. Alright, now we are actually done with Sonic Adventure 2. This game still took a lot of reference from new and unique places with different scenery and cultural backgrounds to show off, and it's cool to see that Sega didn't really reuse any ideas from the first game, despite having similar structures at times. Those are the only two Sonic Adventure games, at least in name, so I'm gonna stop this video here. It was super fun being able to research all these places and applying these locations in a series that I love to things that I'm able to see in my own life, even though some of these stages were a lot harder to find information about than others. I tried to cover all my bases in this video, but I'm 1000% sure that I missed something, so please be sure to let me know in the comments if there's anything I might have missed, or if you have any other ideas on somewhere a stage or hub world might be based on. I might do another video like this for other games in the series like Sonic Unleashed because it was really fun, but I feel like keeping this video specifically to the adventure series makes it feel a lot more self-contained rather than me just waffling the script to make it longer. Okay, but genuinely though, like, where is Pumpkin Hill even located?
Like and subscribe.